Hello everyone, I'm the Lazy Kiwi and welcome back to Palia. Today I started off by placing down a few gifts that I got, including a chest and some pods, which I didn't really know what these were, but they're like these cute little buddy things you can place in your house. I went on and harvested all of my carrots. Unfortunately, my onions were not ready yet, but then I wanted to learn a little bit more about building my future house. So I went off to go and find Kenley. When I finally found Kenley, he told me that I should just inherit a house. Maybe next time I randomly appear into a new world, but for now, I'd like to build one. He told me that he has to find his files somewhere, so for now, I should go and do some other things. So I went over to Ashura, who was in the exact same building, and he convinced me that I should buy a sawmill. So of course I did, I spent all my money. But we're not just yet going to be using this sawmill, as I have other things that I want to do. I wanted to try my hand at fishing. So I of course went to catch some, and you know what, this actually was slightly harder, but also somehow easier than I thought it was going to be. Of course, I also needed company, so I was standing next to this random other player who I have no idea who they are, never talked to or anything, but at least I wasn't alone catching my first fishy, which by the way, first try, I actually managed to get a rainbow trout somehow. Then afterward, I got my first channel catfish, which I feel like a catfish is a really good catch. I don't know fish very well, so it might be horrible, but it might also be really good. And lastly for the day, I caught yet another rainbow trout. But at this point, my focus was getting a bit low, so I went to make some grilled mushroom, which is the easiest and only thing that I know how to make at this point. And when I was full, it was time to go and do some quests. The only problem was that it was nighttime, so absolutely everybody was asleep. My only reasonable solution to this was to spend my time fishing once again. I can already see a pattern here. I think I'm gonna really like fishing in this game. But I did not only catch 3 star quality fish, which apparently is like the good fish, like the good quality, I don't know. Anyway, I also reached level 3 of the fishing skill, which I feel like that's a really good achievement, okay? I know it goes all the way to 10, but I'm only starting right now, okay? When it was lighter, I went to go talk to this robot called Einar. He told me that I should try fishing. It's a little bit late because I already did that. I mean, I'm level 3, like I just mentioned. So I decided to just sell some of the fish that I caught to him. I did, however, keep 2 of my star quality fish because apparently you can place them down, and then I went on my merry way. One of my quests mentioned that I should talk to Tish, and of course I did, and she told me that I should craft a bunch of furniture, which I was super excited about, so I immediately went off to do that. I started crafting one thing after the other, and every time you craft something, I think you learn something new. I'm assuming only when you craft something new, you learn something new. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it is a lot of fun learning new things. And I made my space look a whole lot cuter, adding in shelves, a dining table, all that jazz. And I also had to build a wardrobe, which means outfit changes. I obviously gave it a go. I wanted to go for something a little bit different than what I previously had, so this is the fit that I could come up with, and I think it's really cute. When I was done, however, a man was in front of my house. Kenley came all the way here and made me sign a bunch of things. I don't really know if I sold him my soul or what was happening, but he gave me a house. He gave me a house and it is huge. So I have to somehow make space for this. But first, mushrooms. I gathered some and made grilled mushrooms, also harvesting my onions in the meantime as they were finally finished. I then cleared up a bunch of space on the left side of my house as I was going to move my tent and my farms and everything to the left side. And when everything was where I wanted it to be, I then placed down my brand new house straight in the middle. The only thing is that it wasn't a house. It was literally just the foundation, like what a scam. And to build my house, which apparently I have to do that all on my own, like what the heck do you mean I have to build a house? Anyway, I needed a bunch of wood planks and stone bricks. So, of course, I had to make a saw to get started on the plank part, and I added some wood to it so that could start the process. I also planted a gardenia next to my foundation because I don't exactly remember why, but there was a quest for me to plant and grow that. And then I noticed Tish in front of my plot, and she told me that I can go and get a stone smelter from Hodari. Now, I didn't exactly know where Hodari was, so instead of finding him, I went about meeting as many villagers as I possibly could, and I would say that I did a pretty good job of it, seeing as I met at least 6 new faces, some of them including Eloisa, which is the town paranormal enthusiast, Sifu, who is a warrior and an absolute diva, I have to say, and Delilah, who is a pretty little farmer lady, and also this librarian who, when I talked to her, I asked her about recipes, and she said that I can have one book. I could choose between a dessert cookbook and a fancy cookbook. And obviously, having a sweet tooth myself, I just had to choose the dessert one. The other one up and disappeared, okay. I quickly went back home to go and water my gardenia, which was somehow already fully grown. And afterward, I decided to go and check out Bahari Bay. This is the other map of Palia. So at this point, we have 2 maps, but eventually I am hearing that they are planning on adding another one, which of course we will explore once it is released. But for now, I had to run all the way to Bahari Bay. When I finally made it here, my first thought was that it was absolutely beautiful. Like the lighting, the clouds, the trees. Oh my days, I couldn't get enough of it. But I was here on business. I needed to find Hodari, so I immediately went to find him, of course looking on the map, because how the heck else am I gonna find this man? I got the recipe that I needed from him for the smelter and went straight back home to go and build it. I then added some more wood to my saw and some stone to my new smelter, when all of a sudden this guy Kenley blackmailed me into agreeing to give people gifts as a housewarming thing. Me give them gifts. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess I can. But first, I have other quests to complete. First of all, my gardening quest, so I went running off to go and see Badru. When I finally found him, I turned in my quest and he gave me wheat? Slay? Then I had another quest to complete with Ani, so of course I went to go and find him, and he was so amazed that I managed to grow that gardenia that he gave me a bunch of sticky smoke bombs. The last one that I wanted to complete now was the cooking one for Rev. Luckily he was nearby, so I didn't really have to go far, and I gave him the dessert book and he really liked it and decided from now on he was going to be calling me Sweet Tooth, which I kind of like that. He's such a flirt. Oh my goodness. Looking at my quests, it turned out that I still had to catch a fish. I guess the quest kind of just started once I talked to Einar. So I went down to the docks to do that, which was very simple. I caught a fish almost immediately and I went to talk to Einar to turn in this quest, and he was really happy with it, and I obviously decided to gift him the fish that I had just caught, and he decided to name him Gil. After that, I headed back home to go and check on my materials, which was going pretty well. I think I'm gonna have my house in no time. Oh, and I also planted the singular weeds that I got from Badru. I was pretty curious about fishing near my house in one of the ponds right here. Curious if I would get any fish at all, so of course I had to test that out. So I went and I spent the entire night fishing here, and I actually did get a few things. I got some mud minnows, some calico koi, and some, excuse the pronunciation, cantankerous koi. I don't know how to say that. I'm so sorry. I then went to the store and sold a bunch of the things that I got, like some meat, some of the bugs that I've gotten, just a bunch of things that, in my opinion, was filling up my chests. And once I had a little bit more money from selling all of this, I bought a lot of seeds. I got myself some more wheat seeds. I got some carrot seeds. And lastly, I decided to get some corn. After buying all of these new seeds, I went home and I wanted to plant them all. So I hoed up all of my land and planted my seeds. And of course, gave them a little bit of water so that they could be my perfect little garden. When logging back in after a few days, I immediately watered all of my plants again. After doing that, I checked my smelter and realized that I needed only one more stone brick. So I went and gathered a bit of stone and I added it to my smelter afterwards, and then I went to clear up some more of my plot space while I was waiting for the stone to smelt. When that one little piece of stone was finally done, I had all of the materials I needed to build my house. I went to my little chest and I grabbed my materials, adding it to the house, and the upgrade started. It only took a few seconds to actually build, and it popped out of nowhere, just like that. Of course, I had to check it out from every single angle, including inside, and it was a bit small, but honestly, it's a really good start. When I came out, Tish was waiting for me, so I went over to speak to her, and she gave me some flooring and wallpaper, which I immediately had to go and place into my house. It was looking adorable, of course, and then after Tish was here, this guy showed up out of nowhere. His name is Gel. He told me to use my wardrobe, so of course I had to go and change my outfit once again. I decided to move my wardrobe from my tent to the inside of my new house and went over immediately to use it. And I gave myself this cute blue and purple outfit. I think this is the first outfit where I'm actually wearing pants. Afterward, I got a quest to go and check out his shop. So of course, I decided to run all the way there, and then I checked the register, and guess what? It all costs real life money, and you know that I ain't got none of that, so I ran away. I went over to the town hall to talk to Kenyatta. She told me that if I wanted full citizenship, I needed to invest in my house, which I can do right here. You know, there's only one little problem with this. It costs a heck ton of money, which I also don't have in the game. There is really a lot of things here though for like building and stuff, so I am so excited to eventually dive into the building aspect of this later on when I have more money. I did, however, decide to buy the red, as I do believe it will come in handy later on. But now I was on a mission to finally get all of the villagers some gifts. To do that, I first needed to find out what they actually wanted, so I went around seeing what I can do for all of these villagers. And our first order of business was going to be finding some trout for Hassian. I went over to the nearest spot for fishing and tried my luck. And while it wasn't going so great, I did catch a few fish and a boot. I don't really know what that's about, but I guess we'll see later on. And I really wasn't finding any trout, so I decided to go and try my luck with somebody else instead. I bumped into Gel along the way, and he wanted a Kilima night moth. And luckily for me, it was night. So I ran around the valley trying to see if I can find one. And luckily enough, I did. It wasn't too hard to catch them as well, so I got it and I went to Gel right away, giving it to him, and yeah, he was pretty happy about that. So that is another one down. Now I only had 3 more villagers to give to, so I went to see if someone else wanted something. I made my way over to Tish and genuinely just guessed what she would have wanted from everything in my inventory, and guess what? I was correct. She indeed did like flowers. You know, she just gives me like, I like flowers vibes. I don't know. 3 down, 2 to go. So I went over to Ani, who officially is one of my favorite characters. I don't know what to tell you. He's a lot of fun. I really like him. Also, let me know which of all of the characters is your favorite. So far, I'm really liking Reth and Ani and Tish. I think they're my top 3 at this point. But anyway, I took a wild guess giving him a stink bug, and he of course loved it. Lastly, I went to the librarian lady and she asked for some sundrop lilies. Luckily, I had some of those at home, so I went over to grab one of those, making my way back to her afterwards, and then I gave her one. And she, of course, loved that as well. When finishing everybody's gifts, I decided to go and turn in the quest with Kenley. He gave me some steak, which is nice. And then I decided to talk to him about the random boot that I had fished up. My dude really gave me hydrangeas and 500 coins just for fishing up this random boot. But I mean, look at how happy he is. How can I think this is silly when he's dancing like this? I then went on to go and sell a bunch of the fish that I had in my inventory and decided to spend all of my money right there straight after getting a few recipes on how to make a new fishing rod and a few other things. I then decided to go back home and check my mail. And, well, there was an unreasonable amount in there, so of course I had to go through everything. And yeah, there was just like a lot of really nice gifts and other people just begging me to go spend money at their shops. And of course, 1 or 2 quests thrown in between as well. I was really happy about all of the gifts though, so I did place them all around my house. I must admit that this all looks really, really cute. I cannot wait to decorate my house more. I think this is one of the most exciting parts about this game. But when I went outside, this random lady showed up at my house and she told me that to become a citizen, I must complete 3 quests. These include proving my purpose, I have to prove my devotion, and I have to prove my generosity. So I don't think these will be too hard to do, mainly just probably time consuming, but I think that these are all things I'll be doing in the next episode. So that of course means that this is the end of this one. So thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing to my channel, as it really does help me out. And yeah, thank you all again so much for watching. I will definitely see you all in another video. Goodbye everybody.